Monet, I'm curious, you've been in DeFi in the weeds for a very long time, probably on more forums than you would, like to admit, but getting in the weeds with a lot of DAOs. And I'm curious, like, this feels like a really interesting moment in time for DeFi and a little bit of an inflection point. So the kind of narrative out there is the institutions are finally coming. But I'm curious, like, what is it about this moment in time that makes DeFi very exciting for you? Or like, what gets you kind of out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, no, I think it is a really exciting time for DeFi. A few different kind of reasons that are driving this. I think for one, like as a space, we've been investing in infrastructure for years and years.
Mhm.
Maybe even you could say over investing and not enough sort of focus on apps, but it feels like the infrastructure, chains, L2s, bridges, oracles, it's reaching a point of maturity where we actually have enough block space. We have enough scale to start doing useful things. So that's exciting. Like I think even a couple years ago when L2s had just launched, like it was still kind of very much training wheels phase. And um, now we have all this infrastructure and it's really up to app builders like people in DeFi to start using it, putting it to good use. Um, I also think that, kind of the DeFi technology, we've gone through a lot of sort of like testing phases, DeFi summer 2021. Um, we were just kind of like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what stuck. But uh, we've gone through some pretty brutal bear markets. The stuff that has survived has kind of proven that it's Lindy. Sort of the primitives that we're working on make sense. Um, so yeah, I think we have like a lot of proven sort of building blocks to work with. Um, and then, like you said, the institutions they are actually here. Crypto is now sort of pivoting towards being accepted by governance, by regulators. There's big institutions, BlackRock, Janus Henderson, a whole laundry list of them that are excited to start getting on chain. Um, so I think the confluence of all those factors, like the infrastructure is ready and the users are now kind of coming here in scale is um, it's a really exciting time for DeFi.
I completely agree. I would also add to that as well. I think some long-standing debates in DeFi are potentially on the cusp of starting to get answered. And what this makes me think of is, back in kind of the 2019 or 2020 timeframe, Maker kind of had this big decision to make Maker, now Sky, of do we go down the path of real-world assets or do we not? And the challenge back then was, hey, we basically exist as a way for people to get some amount of leverage on their Ethereum that or on their ETH. There's only so large that market can really grow, and we need to keep this DAI relatively stable. So how do we do that? And there's this kind of big fork in the road of do we go down the RWA path or do we not? And we're starting to finally get answers to some of those long-standing design decisions. And yeah, I think that one of the big questions that at least I have going into this season is now that institutions are actually here, and these aren't just proof of concepts that are being run out of Bank of America's innovation budget that they kind of stick the 25-year-old blockchain guy who just really loves it in. It's how are the introductions of these institutions actually going to change the space, and overall the design of protocols is definitely something that I'm really interested in.